Good evening and welcome, everyone. My name is Jocelyn Wicker, and I'm a proud member of KQED's Community Advisory Panel. We are a group of volunteer community members that supports KQED in community building in the 9 Bay Area counties that KQED serves. KQED is Northern California's go-to PBS and PR member station. Our mission is to inform, inspire, and involve our live events program aims to bring our amazing journalism to the stage. You can see our full lineup of performances, food tastings, trivia nights, and more at kqed.org/live. Raise your hand if you're already a KQED member. Oh my gosh, awesome, thank you. For those who haven't yet joined, we'd love for you to become a member. Supporting KQED means supporting local journalism that truly matters. Plus, when you join, you'll get access to some pretty sweet benefits. Look at this list. Backstage tours, discounted tickets, a pledge-free KQED FM stream, just to name a few. And now we have an added benefit. Donate $150 a year, and you get a KQED artisanal chocolate bar. It's made by Melina from The Chocolate Bar, an East Bay chocolate company who's been featured on our stages. With notes of ginger and coffee, it reflects the global nature of the Bay. Scan this QR code to sign up. This code will also be on display in the lobby on your way out after the event. Stop by, have a look at our amazing schedule, and join us. We'd like to thank the season sponsors who make KQED Live possible: San Francisco Symphony, Comcast Business, and Genentech. We're so grateful for their commitment to supporting our mission of civic and cultural engagement in the Bay Area. We also want to thank tonight's partners, Chile Lindo, Porteño and Harina baked goods. So, without further ado, let's dive into the delicious world of empanadas. With Chile Lindo, Porteño and Harina baked goods, please help me in welcoming our wonderful hosts who will guide us on this journey. Josh DeKalongan, KQED's food audience engagement producer and host of the digital series No Crumbs, and Blanca Torres, writer of KQED's Latinx newsletter, KQED, ¿Qué onda?, and producer for Forum. Josh and Blanca.
Good evening. Are we ready? So I'm Blanca Torres. I am a producer for Forum, and I also edit and created ¿Qué onda?, our monthly newsletter for the Latinx community here in the Bay Area. I am so excited to be here tonight to talk all things empanadas and really hear the stories of where this food comes from. It's a simple dish and yet takes on so many forms, so we're really going to dive into that.
Absolutely, and hi, I'm Josh DeKalongan. I am the audience engagement and content producer for KQED Food. I also work on a show called Check Please and have my own online food series called No Crumbs, so check that out. I am also the editor of our bi-weekly food newsletter called The Sauce. We actually had a poll in our last newsletter, and apparently only 23% of those who voted liked raisins in their empanadas. You are the correct 23%, by the way. Just kidding. But however, I am releasing the next issue tomorrow, which I still need to put together after the show. So sign up so you can receive it for another divisive poll. And to stay up to date, of course, on Bay Area food and our food scene.
So this is our third Showdown event of the year. The first one was Salsa Showdown, where we featured different salsa makers from the Bay Area and live salsa music. Our second one was the Burrito Showdown, where we featured 3 iconic chefs from the Mission, and then we asked them to make a Haight-Ashbury-style burrito. It was fun. But tonight, we're all about the empanadas. So I'll be sitting down with our 3 chefs to hear more about their stories and their businesses. Afterwards, Josh is going to lead us through a demonstration so we can see how empanadas are made and what goes into them. And then we have a fun segment planned involving the audience. So get ready for that. But first, we have a video to show you to introduce our guests for tonight.
My name is Joseph Ahern, and I own El Porteño Empanadas. Food doesn't have to be complicated to be meaningful. Just because something is traditional and simple doesn't mean that it's not delicious. We have 4 different steps of the assembly. We make our filling, we make the dough. With the dough, we make the tapitas, which are the little round circles. And then this is the assembly. This is where we put them all together and make the empanada. All of our empanada flavors and everything we do, it's something that we kind of feel that we would find in Buenos Aires, with processes and ingredients that we would find in our mom's kitchen or our grandmother's kitchen. Here at the Ferry Building, we're pretty busy, so we really have to scale that. You can't just make 10 or 12 at a time. I think where we're really being creative is the process of how to keep up with such a volume, but still maintain that quality. Food is, like I said, it's more, it's obviously, it's about celebrating, it's about, as I said, sustenance, but it's also about way of life. Like, everybody in my family has worked in the restaurants in one capacity or the other, so it's just something that's always been there for us. Do what you love, and I think don't chase trends, and if it's something you enjoy, and it's good, then just go after it with everything.
I'm Paula Tejeda, and I own Chile Lindo. Food is always the most direct cultural expression of any people. If I'm going to represent Chile, I have to stay true to the recipes and the traditions. And I've studied them because I didn't study to be a baker, so it's taken many years for me to build all these recipes. We're going to put raisins, a slice of hard-boiled egg, and an olive. We fold the traditional Chilean empanada, which at Chile Lindo is called the classic pino. Your egg wash gives it that golden, beautiful golden color. When you actually put it in the oven, the steam goes through the holes and it doesn't blow up the empanada. The Chile Lindo empanada has to serve as an ambassador to Chile in the San Francisco Bay Area. You have to believe that what you're contributing to your community and to the people that love what you're doing and to your staff is significant.
My name is Grace, and the name of our business is Harina Baked Goods. Food is my love language, and my biggest inspiration for that would be my family. My husband is the chief baker, the head baker. Everything about dough and bread, he makes all of that. And I'm more like the fillings. So first step is to brown the ground beef, the onions, which I sauteed earlier, garlic powder, paprika, salt and pepper. After that, I add my pimiento pepper, green peas. After this cools down, we add the grated pepper jack. And Alex do everything from operations in the kitchen to our social media. She's also our photographer. She's been a big help for us. When we started this business, just the 2 of us. And then she decided that she wanted to join and help us out in the business. You don't really have to have a background because everybody cooks. Everybody eats food. So if that's your love language, you can start from there and just love what you're doing. And it wouldn't feel like, working.
And now I have the pleasure of welcoming our guest for the evening. So, welcome. Thank you all for being here. So, I will introduce our guests for tonight. We have Grace Lontok. She's the owner of Harinas, a Livermore-based Filipino panaderia specializing in small batch pastries and bread. Grace and her husband started their bakery after the pandemic. Next to her is Joseph Ahern. He is the owner of El Porteño Empanadas, which makes Argentine-style empanadas using his mother's recipes. He started the business in 2008, selling at farmers markets, out of food trucks, and now has 2 locations in the San Francisco Ferry Building and in the Napa Valley wine country. And then on the end, we have Paula Tejeda. She's also known as the girl from Empanada. She's the owner of Chile Lindo, a business that has been in San Francisco for several decades. She is a native New Yorker of Chilean ancestry who spent her childhood going back and forth between the United States and Chile. Welcome.
Thank you.
So we had some really great footage of empanadas, but I wanted us to start off just kind of talking about what is an empanada. The word in Spanish basically means something covered in bread, right? But so Joseph, tell us, what makes an empanada an empanada? What are the defining features?
Well, for me, empanadas, my mom is from Argentina, and when we were kids, we would always, any special occasion, she would make empanadas. And it's not an easy process. It takes a couple days. So, and when she would make it, and she would never let us taste any of the fillings, taste it before, whatever the occasion was. And so just that anticipation was just torture. So, it was sort of that the waiting for it, and then the whatever that occasion was, and having the empanadas. So I just really, really associate it with that.
The big reward.
Yeah. So.
And Paula, you've said that the empanada is the dish of Chile. Why are they so loved in your home country?
Chileans made the empanada their national food. You celebrate the Chilean independence with wine and empanadas. And Chileans celebrate their independence for the entire month of September. I always say you would have thought they won the independence last year because they celebrate all month. And empanadas, they make ramadas, which rama means like a branch. And ramadas are set out throughout the country, and it's spring. Remember, September, it's spring in Chile, so you welcome the spring. It's the independence, and under the ramadas, empanadas and wine, because Chileans make wine. And we also tend to have empanadas on Sunday. Families go to church, or they don't want to cook, and they take empanadas home, and they're so easy. You just warm them up, and that's it. You have lunch or dinner.
Wow. And Grace, tell us more about the Filipino version. And did you grow up with them?
No, actually, when I was growing up back home in the Philippines, empanada is not something very common that you would eat regularly. It's more like a special treat. Although there are a lot of local neighborhood bakeries, it's not something that you can it's not accessible. It's not something that you can just get at any other bakeries. So, but because it's such a special treat, we get it from a store that actually sells only empanadas. And as I grew up, I love empanada more because of the portability of the food. It's something that you can just grab and go, very easy to eat, and it's also a favorite food of my mom. So it's something that we shared in common with my mom.
And they were savory empanadas?
There's both savory and sweet. Filipino empanadas tend to be a little bit sweeter more on the dough than the filling, and it's typically fried. Typically fried empanadas, savory filling. You would have some sweet fillings as well.
Great. Well, let's talk about the business of empanadas. So, Paula, you are the third owner of Chile Lindo, is that correct?
Yes, and the more I research this, by the way, Chile Lindo just became a San Francisco legacy business. Thank you. And the more I research, now I end up finding out there's actually another owner of Chile Lindo that came even before. La Señora Liberona was the first. She was Chilean. She had a little cafe in the Redstone building right there on 16th and Cap. She must have had it like 17 years, and then she sold it to Angélica Oviedo, which was another Chilean. And she had it around approximately 8-9 years. And then in 1995, I'd actually just arrived from New York City, and I was running around with my own entrepreneurial spirit with a basket of sandwiches, believe it or not. And then we got a phone call that said, Chile Lindo's up for sale. Angélica is giving it up. And since you're doing this food business, why don't you buy Chile Lindo? I didn't have a dime. And I had no idea how I was going to buy this business. But I said, let me go talk to Angélica and find out what she's doing. And they go, a Cuban is going to get it if you don't buy it. And I was like, oh, my God, I got to save Chile Lindo on the corner of 16th and Cap. And sure enough, I go talk to Angélica. I literally walk in one evening, and I tell her, they tell me you want to sell the business. Yeah, she says, but here, the Chileans don't come to 16th and Cap, and you have to sell pupusas. And this is how you make pupusas. I mean, I hadn't even said yet that I was going to buy the business. And she was teaching me how to make pupusas. And I'm like, but I don't have a dime. How am I going to pay for this? She wanted like $15,000, and then we negotiated. But there's a program called ALAS, which was part of Women's Initiative for Self-Employment. And it was the Spanish branch of Women's Initiative for Self-Employment. And I said, I would have to take a course there, and I would have to qualify for a loan, and all this is and then I can pay you for that amount after I take these classes. And she's like, great, here, I know the program, here are the keys, bye. And that was my first day with Chile Lindo, and it's been sink or swim for 30 years.
And okay, so Joseph, tell us about how you started El Porteño, and where did that name come from?
Well, the name El Porteño is it's slang for anybody from a port city, and specifically, it's somebody from Buenos Aires. And with my mom being from Buenos Aires, we wanted to sort of have the name reflect that. And also, San Francisco being a port city, we thought it fit. It's really nice. But my wife Teresa and I are been in restaurants our whole life. She's more at the front of the house, and I'm in the kitchen. And for a while there, we got out of the kitchen. We wanted to make a little money, and we sort of went into. Teresa went into more finances, I went into manufacturing, and we did that for a few years. Then we had kids, and we decided we kind of wanted to take a little bit more control, back of our lives, and we wanted to spend more time with the kids, and also do something we really love, which was restaurants and food. And we kind of thought, well, what would we do? She being from Ireland, and then with my family background in Argentina, we thought, well, maybe we will we'll do a restaurant. It's got to be a restaurant, but maybe it'll be an Argentine restaurant, maybe it'll be an Irish restaurant, maybe it'll be an Irish and an Argentine restaurant. Who knows? We had this sort of real, lovely romantic idea that I would be in the kitchen. We'd be, giving each other glances, romantic glances. She'd be out in the front. We'd have soccer on the screen. But we decided at that time. Funny enough, I was doing an internship at BayVac, which was just in the old KQED building. And at that time, with the guys there, we would go out up the street here at the Potrero and 16th and play soccer. And then afterwards, we would go get these wonderful empanadas, which was Chile Lindo. I remembered that, and there weren't very, and in fact, I don't remember any Argentine empanadas in the time. And my wife and I had just got back from Argentina. Food is what we know. We really loved the empanadas. And so we thought that would be a good place to start, maybe at farmers markets. We thought that would be, a low cost of entry, a good way to test it out. And we started one in the peninsula, and it went really, really well. It did very good. We opened up another one, and then it got really almost overwhelming. So we, as good parents in 2008, at the height of the bank, financial collapse, we decided to give up our jobs and start an empanada business. And so after that, we started it. That was around, that was in 2008. And so at the same time, the Twitter street food movement, which is,
Right.
where,
We were part of the street food movement
Yeah,
together, which was before the food trucks.
Yeah, it was, carts on the streets and, setting up a tent. And so we caught that wave, and we did a lot of the San Francisco Street Food Festivals, the Eat Real Festival. There was Off the Grid. And then we got into the Ferry Building. We got a really small place in the Ferry Building, and then kind of moved into another sort of bigger but place outside, and then where we're at now, which is sort of I guess our first brick and mortar place in the center there. And then since we started wholesaling empanadas around the Bay Area as well. So, and I guess that's a story.
Yeah. Great. And Grace, so tell us about how you got started. You and your business, you do a lot of sweet baked goods. So how did you bring in the empanadas?
It's a combination of sweet and savory. So when we started the business in 2020, during the height of the pandemic, my husband got laid off from work. He has so much free time, so he started baking. And we started, in the beginning, he was just baking to share it with family and friends. And then we were giving it to my sister, my neighbors and friends, until one day my sister said, can I start taking orders? And we were like, okay. But then we realized that there is actually a potential there, and we needed that extra income because my husband didn't have work at that time. And through word of mouth, we had more customers. By the end of that year, during the holidays, we had so much orders. We were operating from our small kitchen at home. Everything from the living room, except the bedrooms, had we were doing ensaimadas and cheese rolls in the beginning. And then cheese rolls is also some kind of I wouldn't say empanada, but it's a sweet pastry. Mm. And my husband was actually experimenting, and he loved the result of the puff pastry. So we thought we should do something like a savory filling. So let's do empanadas. And I personally like empanadas. So I started experimenting with fillings. We started with the chicken empanada, which is one of our best sellers at our farmers market. And then that's when we started creating other fillings. That is, we wanted to be our version of empanadas, but still staying kind of true to our Filipino flavors. So it still has that Filipino originality to it, but our own version of the empanadas.
Wow.
And we do sell all of our products at the farmers market. We do pop-ups. We don't have a brick and mortar like the two of them, but our products are being sold at farmers market. We do pop-ups around the Bay Area. We also offer our products at stores there's a store in Pleasanton. It's called Jean's Fine Foods. Also at Berkeley Bowl. We do specials, holiday specials at both their brunches.
Wow, good for you.
So how many total varieties of empanadas do you make?
Right now we're making only 3 varieties. We have the chicken and mushroom, we have the beef, and the veggie empanadas. And we also come up with seasonal items, like we'll do like peach and mangoes, or we've done pecan pie empanadas during the
Well,
Thanksgiving season.
I love sweet empanadas because my family is from Mexico, and to me, an empanada was like had pumpkin or pineapple. Yes, and the savory was actually new to me when I, started trying other foods. So, Joseph, what are some of the popular varieties at El Porteño?
I would say we have our I'd say the 4 or 5 most popular. We have our beef, of course, is very traditional, the most popular. We have a chicken as well. We have a ham and cheese, which we use prosciutto and fontina, and our mushroom one, which we use local mushrooms. And there's Parmesan cheese and shallots. But I think one that's probably people are most fanatic about is our banana and dulce de leche, which is a sweet one, obviously. But yeah, that one's pretty addicting.
And Paula, you actually have a Mexican-inspired.
Yes.
Tell us about your varieties.
Of course, I have the Chilean classic recipe. But my staff, being Mexican, I needed to have something with a touch of jalapeno. So I created some recipes that have, when the Chileans come to Chile Lindo, they're like, I don't recognize those types. I'm like, we're in the mission. I have to have something with jalapeno. So I have a cheddar mozzarella jalapeno and a ham and cheddar mozzarella jalapeno. I have a vegan, which is based on the traditional beef, but with plant-based beef, so that if you're a vegetarian or a vegan, you can taste something really similar to the classic beef. It has the raisins, which some like, some don't. I think Argentinians are not that crazy about the raisins, And then but I don't add hard-boiled egg, because the classic traditional Chilean empanada has also an olive and a slice of hard-boiled egg in the fold, which is like the most traditional recipe. And then my other a little bit improvised recipe is just like the traditional beef, without the raisins, but with merquén. And merquén is a spice from Patagonia, from the south, that the Mapuche people make in Argentina and Chile. And it's not found really anywhere. I mean, you should see what I go through to try to get merquén, because the south of Chile is really far south. I mean, so those are my... and pollo, actually, the chicken, which that is a little bit based on the Peruvian recipe. So I kind of base for different, you may want to say markets, or different people, or different people from your community, because,
yes,
we are in San Francisco, and we're lucky to have people from so many different walks of life. But if it were up to the Chileans, I would only do Chilean stuff. And now in Chile also, because they used to be just only the beef, cheese, which a cheese you can't find here, and also seafood was very traditional in Chile. Now they have all types too, chicken and margarita pizza or margarita empanada with basil and tomato and mozzarella. So it's kind of, evolved that way. Yeah. I'm sure in Argentina it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Now you have many different types of flavors.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, now that you have everyone's taste buds working, we will wrap up and get to the demonstration portion of our show. Thank you. So I will welcome my co-host Josh back to the stage.
Love the music. So let's approach our empanadas. Sorry, that was a weird way to put it. I feel like this is the closest I'll be to Steve Harvey on Miss Universe, just like 3 different countries. Let's get it right, though. Okay, so, sorry. Okay, so we know that empanadas were thought to have originated in Galicia, northwest Spain, before evolving across many countries around the world, of course, throughout Latin America and the Philippines as a result of colonization. But now there's certainly not one way to make an empanada as we've seen, but we have a beautiful cross-section here in the Bay, and we're gonna show you exactly what goes into these in detail. So first, we're gonna watch a very short clip featuring Paula's empanadas, and while it's playing, why don't you walk us a little bit through what's happening on the screen?
Sure. So that is the dough. It's funny, you call them tapas, and we call it masa, la masa, the dough. And there, the stuffing called pino, that comes from the Spanish word pinar, which is beef that's been with a spice. You saw the olives, the raisins, the hard-boiled egg there, and that is the traditional, classic empanada de pino, which is that kind of stuffing, or empanada de horno, which means that you bake in the oven. Or, what is the other way Chileans call their empanada? The empanada de horno, la empanada de pino, those are like the most traditional ways that people refer to it. Or la empanada chilena, I guess I should say. And there, it should be crisp. The dough should be crisp.
You had me at raisins, honestly. I'm glad that you put them in your... I'm going to be very salty about that for the rest of the night. Just kidding.
And I have a lot of customers from the Philippines, and that's what they love.
There you go.
We have the same
do.
ingredients that you use in the Philippines in our empanadas.
Yeah, and also on that note, one thing that we haven't really talked about yet is how important sauce is. So can you tell us a little bit more about how you pair that with the empanadas that you make?
Yeah, we have a traditional sauce called pebre. Which is kind of like, in some places, it's similar to chimichurri in Argentina, which you eat with beef and empanadas in Chile. And it has many similar ingredients that you have in salsas, with the onions, the cilantro. We use cilantro. In Argentina, you use parsley in your chimichurri. But also the pino, the onions, have a lot of Mediterranean spices that probably originate in the Arab world, because the Moors were for 800 years in Spain, and that went to Chile, to South America. So we use cumin, paprika, that combination of the paprika, the cumin, the raisins, the olive. That's very Mediterranean, and it has kind of that part of the world, I think, that it originates. So if you have empanadas, you have pebre. I brought merquén today, but at Chile Lindo, you can try them with the pebre sauce.
Amazing. Okay, so let's go ahead and contrast that to. So Joseph, let's show the clip of your empanada being made, and let's talk about through what's happening on screen there.
So there we have 4 stages. We have the masa, of course, and then with the masa, we roll them out to make the tapitas. Then we have we make the fillings, of course, and then we have the assembly where we put it all together. And then what we're doing here, and what I think is one of our biggest challenges, is the folds, is finding all the different folds for each different flavor. In fact, Paula, the folds which we call the repulgue, I stole that fold for your beef on our mushroom. So if you see our mushroom, it's I just needed to get an idea.
He's an honest man. Chile Lindo has inspired many things, including empanadas.
Yes, and then they're baked in the oven for 20 minutes, depending on the filling.
And the folds are difficult. It takes a long time for someone to train to get
it looks easy,
all
but
those different folds.
Yeah.
And so what really, in your opinion, really sets apart, an Argentinian style empanada from other styles that you see?
Well, I mean, I would say if you're in Argentina you're looking at a Chilean ones, you would say the Chilean empanadas are big and soggy. And if you're a Chilean looking at the Argentine ones, oh, they're small and dry. So, but I mean, I think with Argentina, a lot of the empanadas are very similar in South America, but I think with Argentina is mostly it's a savory ones, and it's a lot of beef, and like most other countries, there's baked and fried as well. So.
Gotcha. And there's this saying that I love in the wine world that they say, what goes together or what grows together goes together. So would you say you would pair well with a Malbec, for example? And I know that you have one on your menu, but you have it braised in Malbec or something.
Yeah,
right?
we have our lamb, which is the one empanada that's sort of inspired, not out of Argentina. It's from where my wife is from Cary. It's a lamb empanada, but we also use that. It's braised in Malbec.
Amazing. That's very cool. And now let's move on to Grace. Let's see, the clip of your empanada and talk us a little bit through your process.
All right, so we're making the pastry dough here. We laminate and we fold. It's a puff pastry, so it's very airy and puffy. We're making the filling for the beef empanada, which is ground beef. You have onions, potatoes, then a combination of spices. You also get green peas in there. And then before we wrap it, once it's cold, we add pepper jack cheese for a little bit of heat to the empanada filling. And for us, we don't use the folding techniques. We use folding equipment, so it makes it a lot easier for us to produce it in bigger numbers. And that's how we make our empanadas. Then we bake them for about 20 minutes. And it comes out like this.
That's fantastic. One thing I wanted to ask, of course, was, I'm Filipino, and I grew up also eating empanadas, and as you were saying, they're typically fried. So what was your inspiration behind, how you made your empanadas and how you bake them and your very flaky dough?
One of the inspirations I have for this empanadas was there was this store back in the Philippines. It's called Jamaican Patties. And it's a Filipino store, but they call it Jamaican Patties. And they serve this empanadas that has really the flakiest dough that you could ever have. And when we started making the empanadas, my husband and I were discussing it, and we thought that would be the best dough that we could make because he started making the puff pastry already. So we wanted to replicate that flaky, buttery dough of Jamaican patty. Filling, sorry.
Oh, no, go for it.
The filling is really, it has a lot of the Filipino taste. Our inspiration for that is, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with arroz a la cubana. Again, it's a Filipino dish, but it's called arroz a la cubana.
Really?
It's
a Filipino dish?
It originated in Spanish, I guess, but it's the original version is rice, fried egg, and fried banana, and top it with tomato sauce. The Filipinos made their version by adding a lot meat into the mix. So it's and so when we made the beef empanada, that was the inspiration for that dish.
I think deep fried also, a lot of people don't eat deep fried in our, it's not that common. It's harder to sell. And also, if you deep fry something, you have to literally buy it in that moment.
Exactly.
You have to fold it, fry it, and sell it in the moment.
It keeps
and,
differently.
Otherwise, it's much harder in that sense. And people like baked better than fried, I think. So
it's funny.
That's probably why a lot of people transition to baked.
Yeah, growing up, I wasn't a big fan of the deep fried ones. I thought I just didn't like empanadas. But then, once I tasted different versions, I'm like, I'm very done with the empanada.
We won you over.
Exactly. And the other thing I wanted to ask, Grace, is that there's something that I didn't realize until you told me about what sets Filipino empanadas apart from other ones that you find around the world.
We typically don't use dipping sauce for our empanadas. So it has to be the whole package. When you make the filling, it has to be, I'm not saying that theirs is dry, but it has to be kind of juicy and, it can't be a dry filling. Otherwise, you're just biting on like a dry flaky dough and a dry filling. So, yeah, and also, I think there's only one variety of Filipino empanada that I know uses a dipping sauce, which is an Ilocos empanada. And they make a very complicated sauce of vinegar for the empanada and spices. That's the only thing, that's the only Filipino empanada I know of that uses a dipping sauce.
Fantastic. Yeah. So what's great is that, we're not all talk here. You'll be able to try them later. So keep those notes in mind so that you can compare and contrast. We're going to move on to our next segment, which is our kind of audience-involved segment, which I'm a little nervous about, but we're gonna make it work. Let's have another round of applause for our chefs.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so moving on to our next segment here. I had some folks, there was a QR code that came up earlier with folks that wanted to try some empanadas. So thank you so much for submitting your name. It was great to see them come in. Don't be confused by this sign. I promise it'll make sense in a few minutes. So I do have a couple of names here that we picked randomly, and just let me know if you have any dietary restrictions, and we'll maybe pick a different name, because we do have meat here. Is Jorge Luis Gallega? Come on down. This is like The Price is Right. I'm obsessed. Okay. Next we have is Akshay Budiga here. Yes, come on, sound effects. Spin the wheel. Okay, and then we have Kelly Yun. Yes. No, y'all are good. Okay. Okay. We're gonna make it work. This is great. So we have a little fun activity today. As we've seen today, one thing I love about dishes like empanadas are that they evolve both within countries and globally in the way that, we also develop our own culinary vocabulary, because we have vocabulary here. So for example, somebody might describe an aged Pinot Noir as tasting like sour cherry. Somebody else from the other side of the world would call it maybe tasting like tamarind. So we're gonna do a little exercise here to see how we can best describe our empanadas and judge them. There are two parts to this. We're gonna do this in two parts. First, we're gonna taste these blind. So we have goggles in front of you today, and you're going to put them on, okay? We're gonna make this work. So each of these empanadas do have, belong to one of the ones. We're gonna see if you can tell where they're from. And then we're gonna judge them in a very Josh way, and I'll explain what that means in a second. Sorry, there are so many layers to this, like an empanada. So this sounded like a great idea a month ago. So here we have this chart here, which is kind of funny. We have, it goes from nerd to jock. So is the empanada that you're tasting more like a jock that packs a lot of flavor, or is it more like a nerd where it's a little bit more nuanced and quiet? Does that make sense? Okay, great. And then we have summer and winter. So is it an empanada that you want to take to, Dolores Park or Merritt Lake and share with your friends during a hot day? Or is it more like a winter where you want to cuddle up with it at home under a blanket? Okay? We're gonna make it work, and then after, I'm gonna make you take your country icons and we're gonna put it on here, like some sick experiment. Okay, we're gonna make this happen. Okay, so let's put on our goggles. Oh my God. Okay, do we have a knife? That sounds bad. After covering your... I want to slice these up. If that's okay if we don't, but it would be lovely if we had like a knife. That's cool if we don't. Okay, cool. So, no? Okay. That's totes cool. Okay, so what we're gonna do, I should not have this much power, you guys. Okay, I'm coming over here. Jorge, I was gonna ask you what your name was, and I just said it. Where are you from?
From Oakland, California.
Oakland, represent. Akshay, where are you from?
I'm from New York.
Ooh, get out. No, just kidding. And Kelly, where are you from?
Born and raised in San Francisco.
Yeah. Okay, so are we okay with taking bites out of the same empanada? Do we have problems with that? Okay. Oh my God. Okay. Guys, I need a knife. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we each have an empanada in front of us. Okay, because there's 3 of you and 4 empanadas. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try them each, and then we're gonna rotate them. I love this. Okay, so Jorge, we have this empanada in front of you. Akshay, you have one in front of you as well. So why don't you just go ahead and take a bite of them? I'm so sorry.
Oh,
there you go. Okay, Kelly, I'm just gonna put it right here. There, okay, great. Where is this from? Okay. What are we tasting? Kelly?
Let me just get more filling.
Yeah, good idea. Akshay, how about you?
Seems like a vegetable filling, but I probably need to take another bite.
And Jorge, how does that feel? Describe maybe the texture for me.
Very crunchy, very flaky. A little doughy in the middle, but overall, very much a summer jock empanada.
Whoa, okay, there we go. Okay. Love that. Going back to you, Kelly, how are we feeling about what you're tasting? Do you have any maybe guesses as to maybe where it belongs?
Yeah, I think this is a winter nerd from Harinas because I taste the pepper jack.
Ooh, okay. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make it complicated and rotate the empanadas. So just keep in mind which one you think is which, and then we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out, you guys. Okay. Okay. Oh, sorry. I'm like, you can't see. Okay. Okay, now you have another empanada in front of you. Just, take, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Yes. Tis. Oh my God, sorry. Take a bite of that. Okay, great. Okay, so Kelly, can you talk about what you're tasting and how it differs from the first empanada that you tried?
I think the spices are slightly different, and I could tell the fold was more similar to the Chile Lindo's fold.
Oh. I wonder if that means anything. Perhaps. Akshay, what are you tasting?
So this one is definitely like baked. It's like a thicker dough. It's kind of got like a more like a kind of bready flavor.
Great. And Jorge, what compared to what you tasted before, how are you feeling about this empanada?
This is almost like the opposite. This is definitely a winter nerd to me.
Okay.
Definitely something to enjoy in the cooler times.
Great. Okay. We're getting more information here. What a thing to say. We're getting more information. Okay, great. So let's move on to the next one, and then we'll move on to our final empanada. Yeah, that's what I did. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. Okay, you have each your penultimate empanada, I suppose. Yeah, right. Okay. No, not that one. Guys, don't laugh at me. I'm just kidding. Yeah, that's the correct plate. And then you each have. Yeah. Okay, you did it. Okay. How do you feel about that?
Really good. It's a smaller one, so I wonder if it's the Joseph's, because he mentioned that theirs are smaller.
Oh, okay. And then Akshay, sorry to ask you mid-bite, but how do you feel about that empanada that you're tasting?
This one's pretty good. It has like meat in the inside. I can taste that for sure. Yeah, I think.
Yes. Do you feel nervous that like you can't see anything and people are just laughing? Like I feel like. And Jorge, what do you think about this last one here?
This one's definitely a lot more savory, definitely more summer, but don't know where to put it on the nerd jock scale. I think slightly more jock, but not as jock as the other one.
Okay, cool. I do. I do know what you mean. Okay, and one thing that I didn't note was that we have a secret mystery fourth one, which makes it awkward because now you have to each try it one by one. So I'm going to rotate these back to the original positions. Keep in mind what you tried, and start thinking about where you would place them on our map here. Oh. Un cuchillo. Gracias de Dios. Okay, I'm going to slice this. It's not working. Can I get another knife? I'm just kidding. Okay. Oh my God. I hate myself. Okay. Okay. Look at a round of applause for me, really. Oh, sorry. Okay. Now I have the last empanada in front of you, so you're just gonna take a third of that, Kelly. I'm sorry, and reach on top of it. There you go. Perfect. Okay. Now we have you, Akshay. Sorry. Yeah. There you go. Yes. Live, laugh, love. Okay, great. And then I'm going for you, Louis, or Jorge. Oh, sorry. Perfect. Okay, yes! We did it. Oh, I'm sorry. There's now a plate in front of you. What is that face? Sweet. Because of the raisins? Question mark? Maybe. Okay. And what do we think, Akshay?
Yeah, I can taste like the raisins and olive and the hard-boiled egg. So.
Ooh, do we remember where that was from? Perhaps. And Kelly, finally, what do you think about this one?
So I changed my mind about the last one because I think it was fried. And then this one, I taste the raisins, and sorry, but I don't like raisins. But
Trapdoor.
It tasted really good.
Awesome. Okay, so I won't torture y'all further. Let's take off your blindfolds. A round of applause. Oh my God. I have never been so nervous. Okay. So, Kelly, this was the first one you tried, and then this was the first one you tried, and this was the first one you tried, and then we rotated them. So does anybody have any guesses? And this is the last one you tried. So does anybody have any kind of guesses as to where they replaced the country for each of them?
Let's guess Chile. Oh, I would guess Chile for this one.
Okay.
Because it looks like the one from Chile Lindo. Yeah.
Do we agree?
Yes.
Great. With the second one you tried, do you know where you would place that one? Perhaps. Not to put you on the spot, but
I would guess Argentinian.
oh. Oh, by the way, we do have 4 on here because we wanted to throw you off. So, FYI. And what about this one? The first one that you tried?
I think that was a Filipino one.
Okay. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Jorge, what did you think about this one?
Chile, that's what I was thinking.
Great. So I don't know what the fourth mystery one is, so this is a game for me too. Let's flip over the countries that they belong to and see. Okay, so here we do have Chile. You were correct, this was the Filipino one. I thought that was the Chilean one. So that one's Argentina, and that's the Chilean one. Okay. So instead, okay, I'm gonna give you these things, and you're gonna. Okay, since you tried that one first, you're gonna find out where you would put this on our little fun chart there. You're gonna do this one for Argentina. Yes, and then we'll give you Chilean. Or no, that's the wrong flag. I know flags. There you go. So where would you we're gonna start with you, Kelly. Where would you put this Argentinian empanada?
I think Summer Nerd. It had, a light, like fruity flavor, but also very nuanced and misunderstood.
Am I an Argentinian empanada? Oh my God. Okay, let's go ahead and put it on the chart. Great. Whew. I feel seen. Okay, so where would you put your Filipino empanada?
I think it's more of a hearty flavor with the meat, so I'd put it more on the jock side, and then I think probably more in the winter. It seems like heavier and heartier.
Great. So let's put that on there. An empanada for every season. And finally, where would you put this Chilean empanada? I know you were talking about how it had a little bit more texture to it, right? It had a little bit more thickness. So
Definitely summer jock. All that's missing is the wine.
oh, there you go. Let's put that on there. Oh my God, yes, we have 3 different quadrants. This is fantastic. That makes me happy. There's an empanada for every style, every season. This is just a snapshot of 3 different countries. Within those countries, we have so many different kinds of empanadas, and globally as well. So this kind of shows the variety that we have to offer in the Bay Area and the world as well. Thank you so much for coming up here and being blindfolded, and yeah, thank you so much. Okay. 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 So, round of applause again for our volunteers. Amazing. So now, yes, welcome.
Yes, and
back.
now we'll welcome back our chefs. So thank you so much, Grace Lontoc, Joseph Ahern, Carla Tejeda. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you for sharing your amazing food. Please make sure you go to their businesses, patronize them. Small businesses really need us right now, as does public radio. But just remember to go out and have some delicious food, which you will get to try in the lobby, but make sure you actually go out and try their food as well. Thank you. And another reminder to please subscribe to our newsletter so you can stay informed, hear about events like this. You just need to go to kqed.org/newsletters. And thanks to our sponsors once again, SF Symphony, Genentech, and Comcast. Thank you for making this possible.
Yeah, so don't forget to sign up for our newsletters. We do have another Showdown event coming later this year to do with pupusas. So that's exciting. Y'all are the first to hear about them. So sign up for a reminder, and you'll get that straight to your inbox. I also wanted to mention that the list of all the great benefits of becoming a KQED member will be on display in the lobby on your way out, along with our event schedule. If you didn't get a chance to scan that QR code at the top of the show, you can do so in the lobby. We do have some great upcoming events as well, including Fresh Glass Uncorked, the live edition of the Emmy Award-winning series. And we'll have fantastic superstars in the world of food and wine here as well. So check that out. Go to kqed.org/events to get your tickets. Program guides are also available at the exit, so don't forget to take one home and mark your calendars. So yeah, thank you so much for coming. We hope to see you again, and let's get our empanada samples in the lobby, guys.
Night. Thank you.